Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 2779 Sky Domain 1. Zhang Yi tried to simulate dodging once in his mind. Shall I flash towards you? In the scene, space distorts again, and he returns to the starting point. Towards the enemy? In the scene, the red silk, like a curtain of sky, pressed him back to his original position. To the side, the space beneath his feet turned into a black hole, leading directly to the sharp edge of the arrow. 5 seconds. There is only a 5-second notice period. In this extremely short period of time, Zhang Yi's brain worked at super high speed, simulating 7 dodge scenarios in succession. Every single time, the result is the same, a perfect hit. This is a dead end. Because it has nothing to do with how he dodges, his landing point will be forcibly pulled to the same coordinates as the arrow's landing point, resulting in a guaranteed hit. Ha ha ha! The enormous spider demon Guzan let out a thunderous laugh, its several eyes narrowing simultaneously, revealing a mixture of mockery and cruelty. It's useless, Chaos. We've known your secrets for a long time. The second hand of time is indeed very powerful, capable of predicting what will happen next. But time manipulation is not invincible. Every supernatural force has its weaknesses, and every force has its limits. Guzan's massive body slowly approached. The oppressive feeling it brought was suffocating. To kill you, we, a group of Black Knight-level aliens, have practiced countless times. We've laid this inescapable trap specifically designed to target your spatial and temporal powers. This is the completely enclosed Red Silk Realm, and every space here is under our control. You should know very well that battles between different people are never simply a contest of who has the stronger physique. Favorable timing, advantageous location, and harmonious relations. Guzan's voice was like the sound of a gavel in judgment. The terrain is advantageous. We set a trap before you arrived, and you are now in our territory. Our power perfectly counters your teleportation and precognition. With such an absolute disadvantage, how do you plan to turn the tide? Zhang Yi's gaze gradually turned cold and deep. His brows furrowed tightly, his fingers gripping the demonic blade turned white from the force, and the cold smile on his lips and the excitement in his heart grew even stronger. He finally realized that once he truly stepped into the ranks of the strong in this world and became the so-called Black Knight, the enemies he faced would no longer be those small fry that could be crushed at will. Every strong person who has survived to this day is a monster who crawled out of mountains of corpses and seas of blood. They possess not only immense strength, but also cunning wisdom and sophisticated tactics. Underestimating your opponent will come at a price.
Right now.
Outside ends, before that magnificent white holy gate. King Arthur, Saladin, Morana, and Benjamin Morgan stood there, looking completely bewildered. 1 second they were still in the red space, the next second they were repelled by an irresistible force. What happened? Where is Chaos? King Arthur gripped the sword in the stone, looked around, and found that only they were there. Zhang Yi was nowhere to be seen. He's still inside. Yang Xinxin's voice came from not far away. At this moment, Zhang Yi's team members stood outside Anxi City, with blank expressions. Yang Xinxin's eyes remained calm. This is a targeted subspace assassination scheme. Using high-dimensional space folding technology, they isolated Zhang Yi in a dimension that we cannot reach. We can't find the spatial node, so we can't get in at all. Damn it. Those bastards. Uncle Yu was sweating profusely, frantically calling out into the communicator. Zhang Yi.
Zhang Yi.
Please respond if you receive this. There was only a dead silence on the communicator. Zhang Yi, isolated in subspace, was completely unable to contact them. It's over. Even the Dreamer's cannons might not be able to break through this level of isolation, because they simply cannot identify the spatial nodes. Zhou Kuer bit her lip tightly, her eyes filled with worry. The atmosphere instantly became tense, and a sense of panic spread. If Zhang Yi really perishes here, then the sky of Huashu Kingdom will collapse. No, it's not just about Huashu Kingdom. If Zhang Yi is the strongest among the six kingdoms, then the entire six kingdoms' status will plummet. Don't panic. At this moment, Yang Xinxin's voice rang out like a stabilizing force. Although her voice was cold, it carried an undeniable composure. Her gaze was fixed on the seemingly calm air in front of her, her tone filled with absolute trust. Brother will be all right. Why? Saladin couldn't help but ask. Since you dared to set a trap for me, you must have come prepared. Moreover, the fact that you and I were kicked out of the trap in an instant shows that your strength is unfathomable. No, because we were kicked here, so my brother is safe. Yang Xinxin calmly analyzed. If the opponent is a top-tier power like the Tyrannosaurus clan or some super-level being, they have absolutely overwhelming strength, and there's no need for this kind of trouble. They will wipe us all out, including Zhang Yi's brother. But they didn't. They just drove us into subspace, instead of killing us. A glint of wisdom shone in Yang Xinxin's eyes. This shows that although the strategist is strong, he is not strong enough to ignore everything. Their resources are limited, and they have to concentrate all their resources on dealing with the older brother, so they have no choice but to eliminate us, the distractions. As long as it's not an absolute power-crushing victory, as long as it's still a game between equals. Yang Xinxin's lips curled up slightly, revealing a confident smile just like Zhang Yiru's. That guy couldn't kill him. Because in this world, no one understands better than him how to survive in dire straits. Within the red silk space, time seemed to thicken. Within Zhang Yi's eyes, the divine runes representing the supreme laws of time were spinning wildly at an overload speed. Second hand of time operates at full speed. In that vision of that only he could see, the short 5-second scene was broken down into countless microseconds, and he performed up to 7 extreme simulations in his mind. The first time he teleported to the side. Result: space folded, and he directly collided with the arrow tip. The second attempt was a high-altitude jump. Result: the sky pressed down, and it still crashed into the arrowhead. The third time, it slipped into a crevice in the void. Result: the crevice was sealed shut with red silk, and the arrowhead pointed directly at the crevices. For the 7th time, instead of retreating, he advanced, attempting to attack Karen's main body. Result: the space beneath his feet collapsed, and he teleported behind him, which was also in front of the arrow tip. Call. Zhang Yi was slightly out of breath in reality, his forehead covered with a fine layer of cold sweat. There is no road. This is a perfect vicious cycle. Chapter 2780 Sky Domain 2. No matter what Zhang Yi does, no matter which direction he flees to, the guy who secretly manipulates space will, like a naughty child folding paper, forcibly align the spatial coordinates representing his end point with the arrow's landing point. This is a guaranteed hit at the level of causality. Is the simulation over? Karen's cold, metallic voice rang in Zhang Yi's ears. Chaos, your struggles are meaningless. Before absolute power and rules, your skills are nothing but a clown's trick. Collapse. That image, seemingly crafted from the remains of stars, finally emitted a deafening roar. Karen's 6 incredibly thick arms, veins bulging, suddenly released the string. That crimson arrow, carrying terrifying kinetic energy capable of piercing stars, shot off the bowstring. Wherever it passed, the red silk space crumbled, revealing dark void cracks. This arrow not only locked onto Zhang Yi's physical body, but also locked onto all the spatial nodes in this area. Just as Zhang Yi predicted. No matter how you try to dodge, the outcome is always the same. You'll get hit. Before the arrow even arrived, the destructive spiritual pressure already made Zhang Yi's Godslayer battle suit flutter loudly. Dodge it. The increasingly intense crimson light was reflected in Zhang Yi's pupils, but his expression became unusually calm at this moment. Since you're going to dodge it, then I'll dodge it too. If I could move freely then, Just as the arrow named Godslayer was about to touch Zhang Yi's brow, there was a reaction gap of 0.01 seconds. Zhang Yi did not use teleportation. Instead, he slowly raised his right hand and made a fist in the air in front of the arrow that was hurtling towards him at high speed. Divine skill, formless realm, coordinate displacement. Buzz. This time, Zhang Yi did not move her body in this malevolent space. He concentrated all his spatial computing power on the front of that arrow. He opened a door there. A door connecting to the back of Karen. Since the rule of this space is that Zhang Yi will run into arrows no matter where he goes, then Zhang Yi does the opposite. He becomes the target, and he lets the arrows find the target on their own. What? Karen, standing some distance away, stared wide-eyed as the two burning white soul flames flickered violently. The seemingly unstoppable crimson arrow vanished into thin air just before it touched Zhang Yi's nose. 1 second.
Puffed.
Space cracked. The arrow, carrying an aura of destruction, appeared without warning behind Karen's head, piercing straight into the back of the archer's skull. What? Karen's spirit vanished, and with only her 2 remaining arms, she desperately tried to block backward. But just as the arrow was about to hit Karen, buzz. The red silk that was nowhere to be seen around them twisted eerily once again. It's as if someone forcibly corrected a flawed script. The arrow that was originally destined to hit Karen was redirected again, grazing Karen's scalp before striking the distant void barrier and exploding into a dazzling burst of energy fireworks. Really? Zhang Yi watched the scene with icy eyes. That guy hiding in the shadows can not only control my position, but also move any object in this area at will. Physical attacks are virtually ineffective in this area. Slap, slap, slap. A burst of crisp applause rang out in the deathly silent space. The vampire woman, Avel, dressed in a scarlet robe, clapped her hands gently with a chilling smile on her face. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Avel stretched out his bright red tongue and licked his sharp fangs, his eyes filled with greed and admiration. You are indeed the most amazing genius among the 6 generations. To be able to think of such a way to break the deadlock in such a desperate situation, your combat intelligence is much better than those titans who only use brute force. I've passed. Her gaze suddenly turned cold, and her voice became alluring yet dangerous. Your brain may be very useful, but do you even know how hard your bones are? She walked slowly towards Zhang Yi, her figure graceful, but Zhang Yi didn't feel any sexiness. He only felt that danger was approaching. Vampires? He has never actually fought this legendary immortal race. To infer someone's abilities based on legends is clearly foolish. Pop. She suddenly smiled and blew Zhang Yi a kiss. But at that moment, Avery's originally alluring body suddenly exploded without warning. Instead of turning into minced meat, she expanded like a soft, red jelly, and then quickly melted into a vast, crimson sea of blood. This sea of blood is not an ordinary liquid, but is composed of countless highly concentrated corrosive factors and curse runes. Each drop of blood was like a living entity with its own consciousness, emitting a chilling roar. Blood god descends. Blood prison.
Splash.
The sea of blood surged, transforming into torrents of blood that enveloped Zhang Yi from all directions. Your formless realm range is kilometers, right? From within the sea of blood came the eerie voice of Avelna, repeated countless times. Then I will completely fill this KM space. There are no blind spots, no gaps. Let's see how you hide. Despite the overwhelming sea of blood, Zhang Yi remained calm. Hide? When the opponent has blocked your space, hiding is indeed the most foolish choice. Why should I hide? Since you've dodged it, then I'll devour all your power. Zhang Yi swung the demon's sword, divine refinement, in his hand with a sudden movement. Burial in the netherworld.
Buzz.
Centered on Zhang Yi, a black sphere several hundred meters in diameter suddenly took shape. That's a passage connecting to the netherworld, a miniature man-made black hole. A terrifying suction force erupted, and the surging torrent of blood, upon contact with the surface of the black sphere, was like water rushing into a sewer, being frantically devoured, decomposed, and transformed. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The void power of the netherworld and the corrosive power of the vampires were locked in a fierce battle, producing a sickeningly loud melting sound. Ha ha ha. Eat up. Eat to your heart's content. Avel's charming laughter echoed. My sea of blood is endless. As long as a single drop of blood remains, she can be reborn indefinitely. However, she is not fighting Zhang Yi one-on-one. She also has 3 helpers. So even if it's just a standoff and attrition with Zhang Yi, it's still a win. Sure enough, just as Zhang Yi was fighting against the invasion of the Blood Sea, Guzan, the powerful spider demon who had been lying in wait, finally made his move. Chapter 2780, One God-Slaying Bao 1. A good opportunity. The towering black mountain of flesh trembled slightly, and the several tightly closed eyes on its body opened simultaneously at that moment.
Buzz.
In an instant, the entire red silk space seemed to transform into a bizarre and dazzling kaleidoscope. Several strange beams of light, each with a different color and nature, shot out from those demonic eyes. These rays of light ignored the obstruction of the sea of blood and even the distance of space, carrying an indescribable force of regularity, pointing directly at Zhang Yi, who was trapped in the center of the black hole. Spider Demon's secret technique, myriad manifestations Tathagata. This is a highly ironic name. Despite being an incredibly ugly creature, it possesses a sacred attack name. But then again, perhaps in the eyes of the Spider Demon, the type creature is the truly ugly one. Zhang Yi was currently focused on maintaining the netherworld barrier against the sea of blood when he sensed the spider demon's attack approaching, and his gaze sharpened. Divine refinement, blocketh. Zhang Yi had a sudden thought. The demon tail in his hand instantly disintegrated, turning into countless black chains that intertwined in the air to form an impenetrable defensive net, attempting to intercept those eerie rays of light. Splash. Layer upon layer of black chains intertwined across the sky, forming a thick barrier. However, when the light shone on the chains, there was no explosion or collision. Instead, buzz. The chains, which were originally as black as ink, suddenly turned into eerie colors under the light. Immediately afterwards, a strong sense of rebellion emanated from within the weapon. Not good. Zhang Yi's gaze changed. The chains that had been protecting him suddenly seemed to come alive, turning their sharp points towards Zhang Yi's body and stabbing fiercely at him. The demon held in his hand was also trembling wildly, and sharp spikes suddenly appeared at the grip, attacking Zhang Yi's palm. Hee. Chaos, no. My all-seeing Buddha is a light-based rule ability. Anything illuminated by my magical light, whether living or inanimate, will be given a new soul, and then become under my control. Even if it's your signature weapon, it's no exception. Kill him. With a shout of praise, the colorful chains instantly swelled, transforming into a gigantic, twisted steel world tree. Countless sharp vines and branches, carrying an unstoppable killing intent, frantically attacked Zhang Yi. This weapon, which had accompanied Zhang Yi in his many battles against the Demon King, had now become the most deadly killer. Faced with this sudden betrayal, Zhang Yi showed no sign of panic. On the contrary, a hint of coldness, as if he had anticipated this, flashed in his eyes. He gripped the divine refinement tightly and twisted it wildly in his hand. The most powerful aspect of the divine refinement was its ability to regenerate infinitely and its flexibility, which allowed it to withstand Zhang Yi's own power. However, in terms of attack power, the divine refinement was quite ordinary. Therefore, it couldn't pierce Zhang Yi's divine annihilation battle armor at all. When it pierced Zhang Yi's arm, it felt more like a tickle. As expected, biological weapons do carry this risk. Zhang Yi looked at the frantically attacking vines and whispered. The predecessor of was a powerful member of the Knights of the Round Table, the Green Knight boss. Although it was refined into a weapon by Zhang Yi, its biological instincts still remain. Since you're not listening, then let's switch. Just as those sharp spikes were about to pierce Zhang Yi's body, Zhang Yi snapped his fingers lightly. Self-destruction. Boom! The newly formed, majestic steel world tree exploded violently from within in that instant. This is the backdoor program that Zhang Yi planted on the very first day he was refining the divine refining elixir. As an extremely cautious, paranoid individual, he would never allow his weapon to get out of control. Metal fragments exploded like fireworks, and the massive shockwave even forced the surrounding sea of blood to retreat slightly. With a superpower index as high as 42,000 points, the divine refinement of biological weapons is also powerful enough to cause self-destruction. The smile on Nozomi's face froze in those few eyes. Crazy. In order to avoid being controlled, he actually destroyed his own signature weapon. The Titans, as the legendary artisan race, knew better than anyone how difficult it was to forge a super powerful biological weapon. You've even destroyed your own signature weapon. What do you have left to fight us with? The voice of Avel came from the sea of blood. However, Zhang Yi's expression remained remarkably calm. From within the inner layer of the god-slaying battlesuit, a green seed sprouted. As Zhang Yi infused it with energy, it quickly germinated and grew into vines. The divine refinement sword is forged based on the sword in the tree, and its greatest characteristic is its powerful regenerative ability. To prevent it from being destroyed by rule-based abilities, Zhang Yi caused it to split, leaving behind a seed. This was to prevent such a situation from occurring. Losing a divine refinement weapon will result in a significant waste of energy. However, Zhang Yi has no shortage of energy. Are you hungry? Zhang Yi spoke casually, then reached into the alternate dimension and pulled out a handful of high-purity energy stones he had plundered from the warehouses of the 5 major races. He handed all those priceless energy stones to Zhang, as if feeding fish. As soon as the tender green branches sensed the abundant energy, they quickly extended and then frantically absorbed it. Buzz! Having received a massive infusion of energy, the seed instantly sprouted, grew, and recombined. In the blink of an eye, a brand new black magic weapon, with an even more terrifying aura, reappeared in Zhang Yi's hand. What? The great black knight simultaneously lost his voice. This is absolutely cheating. Let's continue. Zhang Yi held the newly born demon token, his gaze cold. The rule-based light-based ability is very interesting. I've learned about it now. Let's attack together. Don't give him a chance to breathe. Karen said in a low voice, and then he drew back the god-slaying bow with his other arm. All right, no matter how strong his defense is, it will eventually have its limits. Once his spatial barrier is breached, his combat power will be reduced by at least 70%. These Black Knight-level powerhouses were all veteran warriors, and they were calmly analyzing the battle situation. The sea of blood on Avel surged even more violently, continuing to engulf Zhang Yi with a whoosh. This force collided and cancelled out Zhang Yi's netherworld power, but because it contained powerful energy, even the netherworld could not quickly devour it. The beams of the demon eye began to converge once more. How many things can you focus on at once? We can miss countless times while facing our attacks simultaneously, but if you show even the slightest opening, you're dead. Chapter 2780, 2 God-Slaying Bow 2. This roundup targeting Zhang Yi is a true killing blow. These 4 Black Knight-level powerhouses are considered formidable even on a global scale. These 4 individuals were highly experienced, had thoroughly studied Zhang Yi's various abilities, and had learned from the previous failure of the 5 Clans Alliance, so they were better prepared. After studying Zhang Yi for a long time, the 4 of them came to the conclusion that the simplest and most direct way to defeat a superhuman who possesses the power of time, space, and the netherworld is to set up an inescapable trap in advance and then crush him with overwhelming power. If Zhang Yi conquers a city, they will deploy 10 times the military strength to surround the entire city and then fight a fierce battle to win. Although it may seem silly, it is undoubtedly the most effective. Zhang Yi was acutely aware of this. He frowned, knowing that simple defensive measures would indeed be ineffective. Even though the Taishu bathrobe has incredibly strong defensive capabilities, it still has its limits. The opponent's attack included both targeted, single-target kills and indiscriminate attacks over a wide area, effectively blocking all his escape routes. However, what Zhang Yi fears most right now is definitely the rule-based abilities of the spider demon Guzan. He was absolutely certain that the light would hit him. Zhang Yi suddenly swung the divine refinement in his hand, and spatial power burst forth from his body. All things beyond the dark world.
Buzz.
Centered on Zhang Yi, an absolutely black cube-shaped space suddenly unfolded. This space is unlike any previous defense. It is pure nothingness. There was no light, no sound, no matter, and even the flow of time became extremely slow. It's like a piece of absolute nothingness cut from the universe, lying across the real world. Karen's arrows, Aver's sea of blood, and Guzan's magical light were all frozen the moment they touched the black cube. They are like insects sealed in amber, maintaining an aggressive posture, but unable to advance an inch. Guzan's hundred-eyed demonic light struggled to penetrate this dark domain, but encountered tremendous resistance along the way and was gradually swallowed up. What kind of turtle shell is this? Karen roared in exasperation. Your god-slaying arrow actually pierced through me? This is a high-dimensional space partition. Finally, the voice of a fourth person echoed from the void. The voice was elegant and indifferent, carrying a sense of composure and control. The red silk slowly parted, and a tall, slender man dressed in a black bodysuit slowly emerged from the void. He held a huge red curtain in his hand, like the red scepter in the hands of a bullfighter, and danced it continuously, controlling the rules of this entire space. The Nor people Norin. The real plot behind this ambush is also the people of this red silk realm. Noin, stop watching. Avel's voice came from the sea of blood. Quickly use your power to break this turtle shell. Noin shook her head, and the red ribbon in her hand danced even more gracefully. S ability. Den can create domains and control the rules of orientation within those domains.
But
he glanced at the black cube, a hint of amazement flashing in his eyes. This kind of head-on clash of spatial abilities is one of his strengths. His spatial level is very high, and he cannot be forcibly erased using rules. What should we do then? Are we just going to wait it out like this? Guzan asked in a deep, muffled voice. A cruel smile curled at the corner of Noin's mouth. There has never been a truly absolute defense in this world. If there is, it's because the power of its attack is still strong enough. He waved his heavenly cloak like an elegant bullfighter, and the entire red silk space swayed with him. We can concentrate all the attacks from a spatial dimension. There is only one thing we need to do next: interrupt the impact and shatter his defenses. The simplest method is the most effective. Beyond the dark realm, within this absolute black cube-shaped space, is as silent as the singularity at the birth of the universe. The relentless bombardment from the outside world was kept out of reach of that dimension, but Zhang Yi could clearly feel that the spatial barrier was emitting a mournful cry of unbearable strain. The frenzied collision between the higher dimensional rules and the brute force laws was like the metallic twisting sound of the hull of a deep-sea submarine under extreme water pressure. Crunch, crunch. Each sound was like death sharpening his knife. The myriad phenomena can only last for 30 seconds. Although the skill has been phased out, the light of the myriad phenomena of the universe isolates him from what he needs now. Firstly, he used his ability to shield himself from Guzan's rule-based beam attacks. Secondly, he now needs time to think of a way to break the deadlock. Zhang Yi calmly calculated, his eyes slightly closed. Even in absolute darkness, his thoughts remained as clear as lightning. Under the combined attack of 4 Black Knight-level powerhouses, Senlua Wanxiang could definitely not last more than half a minute. Noin's spatial control blocked his escape route, and Aver's sea of blood continued to corrode his defenses, forcing him to focus all his energy on resisting. At the same time, Karen's extreme penetrating power can break through the barrier at any time. But what truly made Zhang Yi feel like he had a thorn in his side and a fishbone stuck in his throat was the most troublesome existence, the spider demon Guzan. Rules-based systems, causality. Zhang Yi's eyes gleamed in the darkness. Guzan's ability, all-seeing Buddha, releases light through hundreds of demonic eyes, forcibly imposing the target with the rule of obedience. This move is too cheesy, even more domineering than Yang Xinxin's Hersher's arrow. After all, the speed of light is much faster than Yang Xinxin's arrow. Moreover, this thing has absolutely no margin for error. Once it hits, the game is basically over. Even if Zhang Yi possesses both spatial and temporal abilities, the situation would instantly collapse if he were covered by that light over a large area, or if Guzan found an opportunity to issue an instruction. Moreover, many of Zhang Yi's methods are easily countered by Guzan's hundred-eyed demon light. He has no way to use his skills and needs to be constantly on guard. To break this deadlock, we must first kill Guzan. Zhang Yi instantly formulated the core of the tactics. To shoot a man, first shoot his horse. To capture a thief, first capture his king. In team fights, the eternal truth is to kill the mage with crowd control abilities first. Just then, the entire Dark Realm began to tremble violently. The frequency of external attacks suddenly changed. No more chaotic bombardment, but a heart-pounding, highly coordinated resonance. Thump, thump, thump. The sound was like the war drums of a giant, each impact hitting precisely the weakest point of the spatial barrier, causing the entire
That's
spatial
all for
structure
today's
within the
chapter.
Dark Realm to tremble.
Tell me in the comments which part you enjoyed the most. If you love manga style stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the Buzz Play Manga. See you in the next chapter with more surprises. Thank you.